So one of the surprising truths we discovered was how few employees are motivated by extrinsic rewards. An interesting and real difference that organisations need to consider if they want to attract and retain the primo talent, I think.
Hi, Rebecca. Thank you for being with us today to talk about ANZIIF's exclusive research on insurance professionals' expectations and motivations in 2022. Our biggest issue today that our clients are facing is candidate shortages, and the advice that we give them is to offer an EVP or an employee value proposition that has been intentionally thought about to attract and retain employees. At the end of the day, we want to give our clients the best chance of attracting talent and our candidates the chance to work for employers that offer them workplace benefits that they actually care about. So can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and the research that ANZIIF conducts?
Sure. So thanks for the invitation, Suzanne, to talk about the exclusive research that ANZIIF commissions every year for our corporate supporters, of which Fuse is one. So I have the privilege of being the General Manager of Education at ANZIIF, and we're in a really unique position at ANZIIF in that we have a wide purview of the insurance industry as a whole, so across general insurance, life insurance, broking, loss adjusting, and also the supply chain for all those industry segments. And having this breadth of exposure not only lets us deeply understand the current state, but it gives us great insights into industry trends and challenges, of which this is one, motivations and expectations. We work really hard to determine our research topics so that they're relevant for the industry, and we always aim for a topic that any single organisation could never achieve on their own. And that's because we have our membership base that we can tap into. So often you can access internal studies within your organisation or research. Possibly you might be able to get segments such as contact centre environments or general financial services, but not insurance specifically. So this year we riffed off the study from last year, which was around talent in the insurance industry, of which there is a lot of talent. And we decided to focus on looking at better understanding the expectations and motivations of insurance professionals. So as we know, things have changed post-COVID, and those expectations and motivations of employees and future employees have changed a lot. We discovered some surprising and fascinating gems that I know our corporate supporters are already using to validate budget decisions, including strategy sessions and helping inform business cases, etc. Yeah, this kind of research, it's amazing for organisational benchmarking because we know it adds a lot of value.
Yeah, and finding information that is credible and also relevant to you was just so difficult to find as well. And then when you do find it, it just gives you that confidence that you need to make the right decisions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. A large part of your research explored flexible work options. And I know that a lot of insurance professionals, as you found in your research, that they are considering it a non-negotiable now when they're looking for work. A lot of employers are a bit hesitant about offering flexible work, or a bit hesitant about how flexible they can make work, which doesn't necessarily align with insurance professionals' expectations right now. So in your research, what did you find were some of the differences between employee and employer workplace flexibility preferences?
Well, there are definite differences, that's for sure, Suzanne. Spot on. While employers favour a model where their staff return to the office on set days, employees, unsurprisingly, would rather have flexibility and choose the days that they work from home. In the research, overall, about 78% of employees say that they want to work from home at least some of the time in some format, with the majority wanting quite a personalised approach to workplace flexibility. And what that personalised approach means that nearly 3 in 5 want flexible start and finish times, Over half want to work from home part-time, and they also want to choose the days that they work. And that is very much in contrast to those employers who prefer employees to work from home on set days. You can understand that really, because they want certainty about staffing and resourcing. They want to make it easier to organise meetings and training events. But those things can actually be done. You don't need people in the office to do those things. That's been just worked out. So there needs to be some middle ground found there. And I think one of the most interesting things that we discovered is that while both insurance professionals and their employers agree that people can perform their role effectively in some form of hybrid model, there is definite disagreement about what that looks like. And as I said, this is where they need to find some middle ground. I mean, employees, 2/3 of them say they can be efficient working from home between 3 and 5 days a week. That's what we discovered in our research. But the employers think that that's really only 1 or 2 days a week. That's optimal. An interesting and real difference that organisations need to consider if they want to attract and retain the primo talent, I think.
I know that understanding workplace flexibility preferences will help employers attract talent. Once they start, they actually need to retain them, otherwise their efforts will go to waste. A lot of insurance professionals right now who choose to stay with their employers really value career progression and hope to gain that out of their employment within their current industry. And your research found that 42% of insurance professionals now consider professional development more important over the last 12 months. It'd be interesting to hear what sort of skills these employees want from their employers. What did your research find were the skills that were most important to employees?
Broadly, respondents indicated that they wanted to skill up in their areas of weaknesses. But they have a pretty good sense of where they need work. They want very targeted professional development that will help them achieve their career goals, most commonly. But they also indicated that they expect their employers to provide them with insurance-specific training and training that will enhance their technical skills. When there is a rollout of compliance training, for example, employers should not believe under any circumstance that their employees consider that to be professional development. That they're not looking at it like that. They want their employers to help them achieve their career goals, and the bulk of that is around enhancing their technical insurance-specific training. I think it's something like 74% expect their employer to provide or support training in aspects that are unique to and essential for success in the insurance industry. So technical insurance training is right up there. Then they also expect their employer to provide compliance training because that's appropriate. And then product training comes in a very, very close third after that. And a further 63% believe that their employers should also provide ethics and professional standards training, which I think is a testament to the integrity of those across the insurance industry that we surveyed, that they actually thought that ethics and professional standards was a real focus point that they wanted. Of course, there's other types of training, there's training to develop leadership or enterprise skills. They're generally seen as desirable, but they're not seen as being essential to career development unless you plan to move into a management role.
Right.
And of course, all of us get to a point in our career where we go, I'm a very strong technician. Will I lead people in that discipline? Or am I going to become the most extraordinary senior technician in this particular kind of work? And if you're going down this bent, you don't really want the leadership training. You want the really enhanced technical skills training.
So employers should really ask their employees where they actually want their careers to go before they actually offer any training.
Yeah, don't assume.
Yeah.
Assuming is never a good thing.
No, it's not, and we should know that.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the other thing about training is what's difficult for both organisations and employees is actually finding the time to learn. That's one of the biggest challenges, is time during work hours to learn. And 54% of our respondents said that their employers could do better at creating space for them to learn. And that includes not just carving out some time, but making sure that their job is being backfilled by someone else during that time, so they don't come out of it with extra work.
Yeah.
So there's lots of things to think about. And with that timing thing in mind, what we've discovered is people are slightly commitment phobic when it comes to their learning.
Yeah.
They would prefer to do things in small chunks, and ANZIIF recognised this like 6 or 7 years ago in response to member feedback and industry information, and we moved away from providing students with full qualifications that they had to sign up to with a large chunk of money at the beginning and a large time commitment. We moved away from that and instead created our skills units, which are sweet, bite-sized pieces of learning that students complete over a 5-week period. And that approach is perfect for this time-challenged environment, because it means that students and employers, or employees and employers, can kind of try things out, like just do one skills unit, and then if that feels good, do another one. If that feels good, do another one. Pace it out over time, and before you know it, you got yourself a diploma or a certificate for. It helps people breathe a little bit.
Yeah, it's more accommodating to busy schedules, and then they can actually fit in that training as well. Yeah. I know that a lot of employees actually find it really hard to challenge their employees to upskill. And 40% of your respondents said that motivating employees to upskill is one of their biggest challenges as well. Can you tell us why that might be the case besides time restraints?
Yeah, it all comes down to knowing the human, knowing the person, and not assuming. So one of the surprising truths we discovered was how few employees are motivated by extrinsic rewards. We discovered that only 24% are driven by those external rewards, with a huge 76% saying that they are internally motivated. What that means is they're motivated by things like making sure they perform their role to the best of their ability, working towards personal career goals, to challenge themselves or experience the satisfaction of achieving a personal goal. For others, it was about learning something new or the intellectual challenge of it. And some said it was just about being the best person that they can be, and that lifelong learning is important to them. This is in contrast, and you mentioned this at the beginning of our conversation, to some of the employee value propositions that currently exist. So many of those EVPs sit pretty squarely offering generic external benefits, such as career progression opportunities, higher remuneration, or credentials or certifications. They are still great. Like, there's still a lot of people will be motivated by those. But those traditional external motivation strategies and rewards, well, 76% of people are telling us that that's not hitting the mark for them at all. So it could be that it's those external motivations aren't working for them because of very real things like operational constraints, or due to lack of time or financial support, or it could well be a combination of many factors. It's kind of hard to know whether employees are internally driven or externally motivated. But either way, conversations need to be had.
Yeah.
And I think this insight is hugely helpful in supporting individuals to meet their career expectations and also to stay with their employer.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're definitely right. Insurance employers are already so used to dealing with candidate shortages given, the industry. So a lot of them are already offering generic benefits, so employees can find that anywhere. So it's really important to understand whether their employees are internally or externally motivated so that they can actually retain them as well. Yeah, well, anyway, thank you so much. I know there was so much more in your research that we couldn't go through today, but I know your team is working on another project right now exclusively for ANZIIF corporate supporters. Can you tell us where we can find you, find ANZIIF, or find a way to become an ANZIIF corporate supporter so that we can have access to future findings as well?
Sure. I think the best way is just to go straight to our website, ANZIIF.com. So that's ANZIIF for the Australian and New Zealand Institute of Insurance and Finance. So ANZIIF.com, that will give anyone plenty of information. If you just search for corporate supporter, you'll get everything you need about that program, including some little infographics about our last couple of years of research around talent and some other bits and pieces. So, yeah, I thank you very much for understanding the value of this report, Suzanne, and your colleagues at Fuse, because we really think it's something quite special and there's some opportunity there for the industry.
Yeah. Well, thank you again. It was lovely to speak to you again, and I'll talk to you another time.
Excellent. Pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you.